In today's project, we're going to take these little calico bags to create these little calico bags for your Easter treats. Let's make this! The inspiration for this project is just to find a little creative way of giving people just a little bag of chocolate, because some of us can go really over the top at Easter. But if you're just giving a little present to a friend or something like that, maybe growing a reusable bag, calico bag, and then decorating it might be a really nice way of doing that. The materials we'll use for today's project are these little calico bags. I got these ones from Amazon, but I think you can get them at Spotlight and probably Kmart as well. I've also got some scrap iron-on vinyl and a standard grip mat. We're going to do this whole project in Design Space today. I did a quick search for Easter motifs before I did this tutorial, and I was surprised at how many were available that were free. So we're going to start with it, do it all in Design Space today. So I'm going to start by creating a template for my little calico bag. They're 11 centimeters across and 14 centimeters tall. So I've just gone into shapes and just created that shape. We'll delete it later, but it's a really good way of working out your layout. Now I've gone over to images and I've typed in bunny and I've chosen a free filter. And there are these really cute bunnies. Now, they're not the traditional, very cute bunny. I really like the one that's got the little heart tail and things like that. And there's lots of different options, but I really like these two weirdly skinny but squarish looking bunnies. So I'm going to use those. I'm going to use just the one on its own, and I'm also going to use the one that's got the balloon. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the balloon with an Easter egg, because as I'm scrolling through, I've now changed over to an Easter search, and you can see there that there's lots of Easter eggs that are free as well. So I'm going to show you how to manipulate an image to kind of replace a component of it. So I'm going to choose one of these Easter eggs here too while I'm in this image search. Now I'm going to add some text, and I'm going to be a little bit punny and have it as Hoppy Easter rather than Happy Easter. And I'm going to do the same text on both bags. So I'm going to do two bags that are both going to say Hoppy Easter, and then I'm going to personalize them by having my name and my partner's name, April, on them. Now I'm going to go into Wordmark to work out what font I'm going to use, and I used Wordmark last week in the Disco Cup tutorial. If you want to go back and have a look at that, I'll go into detail on how to use Wordmark. After going through Wordmark, I've chosen the ones I want. So Hoppy Easter is going to be done using Dino Play. I got that from 1001 Fonts. And then I'm going to use Mama as my other font. Now I'm having a play around here to see if I should have it as the Easter font. So Hoppy from Dino Play and then Easter as Mama. But the more I look at it, I really don't like it. So I think I'm going to change the Hoppy Easter to both being Dino Play. And then I'll have our names using Mama as that font. Now I'm going to overlap the Easter over the top of the word Hoppy. So I'm creating an offset to help with that process. So I've clicked on Easter, I've clicked on offset, and then I've chosen a 0.15 offset. You can choose a smaller one, you could choose a bigger one if you like, but I think for this project, the 1.5 is probably enough. Then once the offset's created, I'm going to click on the offset over in the layers panel, and I'm also going to choose the word Hoppy. And I am going to do a slice, because what I want to do is create a gap between the word Hoppy and the word Easter. So when I've hit slice, then I'm going to delete everything except for the slice result that has the word Hoppy. And then once I've deleted that, you can now see that there is a gap between the Hoppy and the Easter, and it just fits nicely in there. So then I'm just going to play around with the first design and see how it all fits together. So I'm just going to attach the word Hoppy and Easter so that I can move that around easy, and it will also mean that when I cut it, when I go to cut, it will cut as one component rather than trying to break it up and cut it into two components. So once I've done the design for the first one, then it's a matter of just doing a duplicate of the word Hoppy Easter and also moving the background or the template that I created for the bag over to the side, and then I'm going to do the same thing to create a different design for the rabbit with the balloon. Now, to replace the balloon with the Easter egg, first of all, I'm just going to resize the Easter egg. Then I'm just going to grab a shape. Now I'm using the square shape from the shapes panel, and I'm going to place it over the top of where the balloon is with this rabbit. Then I'm going to select both the rabbit and the shape, and I am going to do a slice. Then all I need to do is delete all of the components that have anything to do with the balloon, and then I'm left with the rabbit holding a bit of string essentially, and then I can place the egg over the top, and so you can see there that's really cute. It's now holding an Easter egg balloon instead of just a regular old balloon. Then I'm just going to play around with the placement of all of those components now to see how I'd like it to look, and then I'm just going to change all of the components to the same color. Because they're all little components, I know that they're all going to fit on the same mat, so I'm just changing them all to that dark green color. And then all I need to do is delete the square, then hit save, and then go to make. Once I get into the make section and it's on the mat, it's just a matter of now moving all those components around so that they fit on the different scraps of vinyl that I have. So I'm going to do the Hoppy Easter in this really cool silver vinyl that I have. I'm going to do a bright pink egg, black text, and the bunnies are going to be gold. Make sure that you mirror this project because we are using iron-on vinyl. If you don't mirror it, then when we try to iron it on, it's going to be backwards. Then once you hit continue, you're going to choose everyday iron-on or whichever setting fits your iron-on vinyl. That everything is cut and weeded, it's a matter of putting it together. So I'm going to use my mini press, my Cricut Easy Mini Press. You can use an iron for this project as well. It depends on what equipment you've got. So I've put that on the second setting, and now I'm just going to, before I do any ironing, I just want to put the components back down on the bag. Now my computer is a little bit away from my table where I do my making. So going back and forward between the computer and to check the design I created is a little bit time consuming. So I'm just going to do a little bit of placement here to work out which parts fit where so that we can then start our ironing process. All right, now that I've worked it out, it's a matter of just doing these one at a time. So I'm giving the bag a little iron to start with. That just first of all gets rid of any creases, but it also helps with getting any moisture out of your bags, which helps the vinyl stick a little bit better. So now it's just a matter of layering. So making sure that I'm using some baking paper each time I do a press. I just, for each component, press first and then I'll do a little bit of an iron. Now, I've chosen to do these components in a particular order because not only is it make a bit of logical sense, but also because of the, I suppose the word would be finickiness of the vinyl. So that really silvery chrome vinyl, I love it to death, but it is so pedantic about whether or not it's going to work or not. So I'm going to do that one last because you put too much heat on it, it will start pulling and it kind of gives it a bit of a wrinkly look. So what I've found is if I'm trying to do some layering, I've always got to do that silver one last. The others can kind of hold up to the pressure a little bit better. This black one in particular, look at how good that lifts. Oh, it's a dream. But this silver one, and it is a, I think it's a Caesar brand one, and I'm not sure that it's made anymore, but I love it, and I don't know why they got rid of it. But it is a little bit finicky, and it's also a bit finicky on how long you've got to leave it down. I haven't properly worked out whether it's supposed to be a hot peel, a cold peel, a medium peel. So I kind of just lift it a little bit and then let it sit for a while if that's not happy. So you can see here when I lift, it's just lifting the letters straight up. So it's, even though I can tell that it's been ironed down properly because it's giving that little bit of, you know how when you press you can see the fabric through it or the grains of the fabric. So it's giving that kind of look, but it's not allowing me to lift that carrier sheet all that well. So I'm just trying to give it a, cool it down a little bit. You got to pull the fabric a bit. Look, like I said, I love it. The final result is awesome, but it's not great to play with. So you just, sometimes you've got to just be patient and you've got to experiment a little bit. So you can see that I can pull it up a little bit, but the H is staying down, but the E doesn't want to. Sometimes it means going to the opposite end, going from the top to the bottom rather than bottom to top. I don't know, these things, we love them, but at the same time, they can be really, really finicky. But isn't it cool? Look, now that I've lifted it, it's like having foil on there. I just love it. Like I said, I think they've got rid of it, and I don't know why. Maybe because it's just too hard to use. But anyway, so then I give it another iron over the top just to make it seal. Look, these aren't going to be washed and they're not going to be reused probably, but just do it for so that on the day that you're handing these bags over, things aren't falling off and you don't think, oh, I've gone to all this effort, but it doesn't look as good as I would have hoped. So just give it another little press and then you're done. So I'm just going to do the other one as well. Look at these little guys. Aren't they cute? They're matching, but they're not too matchy-matchy. I can put my Easter eggs in it and we're not going to go over the top. I just love it. And I really love those little rabbits that have come straight from that Cricut store. Just so cute. How cute are these little bags? I just love them. They fit just enough little Easter egg chocolates for giving away to people. And how cute are those bunnies from the Design Space area? That is awesome. I can't believe that I didn't have to pay for them. This is a really great project for Easter, obviously, but also for someone who's starting out, because there's a few different layers of vinyl that you're using. So if you want to test out or try out that technique, it's a really good project to do, and it's also a fantastic project if you've got a heap of leftover scrap vinyl. I'll see you next week for another Easter inspired project. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget, you can always jump on my Instagram, head over to my Etsy store, or even check out the videos YouTube recommends for you down below.